Hello and welcome to my channel. I have a list of over 1,000 questions for false memories. Call it what you will. And I might have to break this up into 3 or 4 videos, but I might try to see if I can't get it all into one video. But if I do, it might take me a couple hours. And I'll try to leave my opinions out of it, but sometimes they're going to flare up. So if you want to pause the movie every now and then, you can read the questions and write down the answers. And I would greatly appreciate it if you put some of these answers in the comments. Thank you. And I hope you enjoy my video. Okay, number 1, Abercrombie and Fitch, or Abercrombie and Fitch, or Abercrombie, and how do you spell it? The Abraham Lincoln Monument. Does Lincoln have both hands open and down, or one hand clenched in a fist? Who killed Abraham Lincoln's grandfather? Now, you may not know this. You may have read it in a book years ago, or you may not. Was it a man named Booth or Indians? Was Abraham Lincoln possibly black or part black? Who said, "I cannot tell a lie"? Did a president actually chop down a cherry tree, or did he just hit it with an axe? How do you spell absolute in Absolute Vodka? Adidas, 2 D's or 1. Ace Acne or Ace Acme. You may not remember this. Play-by-play, it's stuffed animals. It had like Tweety Bird and stuff. The Addams Family, 1 D or 2. Cousin It, 2 T's, 1 T. Adolf Hitler, did he have brown eyes or blue eyes? Advanced Auto Parts or Advance Auto Parts? This one affects me. African gray, and I've got a strong opinion on it. African gray parrot's tail. My husband used to own one of these. Did they have gray or red at the bottom of their tail? Was Agatha Christie never found, or was she found in 1926? Was it Agent Cody Banks or Secret Agent Cody Banks, the name of the movie? Do airplane wings, do they have engines on the wings, or are the engines on the plane? Do you ever remember the engines being on the plane and not on the wings? Are the wings on the plane under the plane and coming out from the center of the plane, or are they like in between the top and the bottom of the plane and then coming out from there? Are the ends of the airplane wings pointed and thin, or not pointed and curved a bit toward the end? Do the ends of the airplane wings point up, or are they straight in line with the rest of the wing, or do they get to a thing and like angle up in the air? Disney Aladdin takes place in what country? Egypt, China, Saudi Arabia, or India? Is it Alaskan Airlines or Alaska Airlines? Al Capone died. Did he die in Alcatraz prison or at his home in Florida? Alfa Romero or Alfa Romeo? A1 steak sauce with a line or without. Was the 18 van black or black and gray with a red stripe? The A-Team. Was that guy's name Mad Dog Murdoch, or did they call him Howling Mad Murdoch? Uh-huh. Yeah, that one affects me. Did the Cheshire Cat, I have a strong opinion about it. Did the Cheshire Cat in Alice in Wonderland say we're all mad here, or most everyone's mad here? Did Alice in Wonderland's Tweety Dee, did they have propellers or flags on top of their hats? Was it spelled Tweedledee with a T or with a D? And what color was the Mad Hatter's hat? Is Al Pacino's famous quote, "I'm out of order or you're out of order"? A lot. Is it one word or is it got a space in between it? The AOL old logo from way back then. Do you remember it? If you remember, draw it out. And then look for it. Is South America under North America, or is it more to the east? Which one do you remember as being on top? Does American Idol Randy Jackson ever say, "That is going to be a no for me, dog"? American Gothic painting of the farmer with a pitchfork and his wife. Is there a field of corn behind him, an empty field with 2 bales of hay, a dark brown house, a red barn, or a light-colored house? Is the woman, is she really old or middle-aged or young? Is the man old with a long, thin face, or close to middle age with a rounder face? Does he have colored stripes on his shirt? Does the woman have blue eyes? Is the man wearing visible overalls where you can see the straps from the overalls, or no? Okay, 38. When did Andre the Giant die? Host of Bizarre Foods. Andrew Zimmerman or Zimmern? Analysis with 2 N's or 1. Anunnaki or Anunnaki? If you had those old encyclopedias from way back then, I don't know if you ever seen them or not. Are there baby angels or cherub in the old encyclopedias when it shows God's outstretched arm? If there are the angels or the children, are they around God, or are they behind him, or are they all just like floating around like they're happy go lucky and safe and everybody's reaching out touching hands, whatever? The original Annie, is it It's a Hard Knock Life or It's the Hard Knock Life? Apollo 13, Houston, we have a problem, or Houston, we've had a problem. How many times have we landed on the moon with astronauts? Did the last space shuttle that exploded explode before or after year 2000? Apostrophe for possessive names. Is it S apostrophe or apostrophe S? If it ended with an S, then do you add ES? An apostrophe or something else? I mean, how did you learn it? How do you spell orangutan? Do you know? Is it with an A or no? How do you spell archaeology? How do you spell Armageddon? Arnold Schwarzenegger. Do you know how to spell his last name? Does that affect you? Do you remember how to spell his name? Atlantis. Was it a real place or was it fictional? Did Atlantis sink into the ocean or was it swallowed up by the Bermuda Triangle? Or was it Arctica? Or was it Antarctica? Atlantis, who lived there? Was it half gods, half humans? Anunnaki, the Minoans, or people who lived in the center of the, or live in the center of the earth now? Is there a center of the earth? I don't know. That's crazy. So crazy. Was there once a supercontinent called or Ur? Is the land down under Australia or New Zealand? Is the Sydney Opera House is in Australia? Is it 3 buildings or 1? What is the capital of Australia? Is it Sydney or Canberra? Is there an island on the west coast of Australia? Who invented the automobile? See, that's, did I just lose my place? Anyway, I was at 60. Who invented the automobile? First driving self-driving car, was it 1920s, 1939, 1958, 1980s, or 1995? Baba Black Sheep, have you any wool? Yes, sir, yes, sir. 3 bags full. 1 for blank master. Is it my master or the master? Number 63. Was the terrorist driving in Back to the Future driving a minivan, a VW van, or a bus? Back to the Future. What color are the wheels on Marty's skateboard? Are they red or yellow? Back to the Future ending. Are his parents wearing white tennis clothes? Baker's chocolate or just Baker's? What does it say on the wrapper? Does it say Baker's or does it say Baker's Squares? After Bambi's mother dies, does Bambi lay by her side or go to his father? Banana. Has it always been spelled one way? Do you remember it being spelled different? Do they grow right side up or upside down? Do you remember them ever being spelled with 2 N's in there? Barbara Streisand. Is it Barbara or Barbara? Is it Streisand or Streisand? Bank wire transfers began in 1877 or the 1960s. Barbecue with a Q or a C. I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world or in the Barbie world in the song. Bare Essentials, it's makeup. How's it spelled? How do you remember it being spelled? I actually think that might be both ways now, but I don't know which one came out first. The Bare Necessities movie, when you listen to the original, does it say, I couldn't be found or I couldn't be fonder? Is it Barge's root beer or Barks with a Q? Barnum's or Mother's circus animal cookies? And is it circus animal crackers or animal cookies? Batman movie. Does the money falling everywhere, does it have the Joker's face on it or no? The Batman logo in 1989 Batman. What does it look like? Can you draw the bottom of it? Batman movie The Dark Knight Rises. Was Bane knitting throughout the movie? Are bats blind? That's number 81. Was Batteries not included a movie? And was there a sequel? Beats by Dr. Dre or Beats by Dre headphones? Which one is it? Do the beaver's teeth come out from the bottom up and stick out way far? Are their teeth white or orange? Bela Lugosi. When did Bela Lugosi die? Bee Gees. How deep is your love songs? Says, I really need to know or I really mean to learn. What was Beethoven's first and middle name? Do you know that one? You may not know that one. Is it Belks or Belk? Was Benjamin Franklin ever president? Was Ben Franklin's kite ever struck by lightning? Did he discover electricity? Okay, is it Berkeley, California or Berkeley, California? How far from shore is the Bermuda Triangle? Is the Bermuda Triangle a safe place to go? Did Bernie Madoff die? The Bernstein Bears. I mean, if you're from another country, you might pronounce I-E as E and E-I as I. And, was it Berenstein or Berenstein or Berenstain? Was it easy or hard for you to pronounce? I mean, If it was Bernstein, it'd be pretty easy, right? Betty Page, do you remember how to spell her name? Bible revelations. 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Is one of them pestilence or conquest? Then there's 98. You can read that one for yourself. I don't want to say it because I know I'm going to pronounce it wrong. It's going to sound terrible. I think it's Bichon Frise or something, but how do you spell it? And Big the movie, was there an alternate ending on the DVD where Susan went back to the fairground machine and wished to be a kid again, and he went to school and there she was in the classroom? Or did that not exist? Bill Nye, the science guy, how do you spell his name? Did Bill Nye die years ago? Billy Ray Cyrus, is it Don't Break My Heart, My Achy Breaky Heart, or Don't Tell My Heart, My Achy Breaky Heart? Was Billy Graham's funeral televised before 2018? Did Billy Grahams die and have a televised funeral? Did the Birdman of Alcatraz, the Birdman of Alcatraz, did he have any birds? Can birds fly upside down? Have you ever heard of this? Have you ever seen it? Okay, these I threw in there. I don't know. Blood. If you touch an armadillo, can you get leprosy? Or Hansen's disease. Can you imagine? We call them armadillos because they're like everywhere, but can you get leprosy by touching it and spread leprosy to people? Can purple blood help regenerate a part of the body when it's cut off in worms? Do some spiders have colorless blood and turns blue as they bleed and helps them shed old skin? Do some scorpions have blue blood? Do some lizards and leeches have green blood? Do roly-polies have blue blood? Do sea squirts and sea cucumbers have yellow blood? Or are there fish with clear blood? Roly-polies, I remember them. We used to play with those as a kid. Blue ribbon or blue ribboned candy. You know, how's that spelled? I wonder how long it's been out. Bob Seger, with an E or an EA. You know, for years, spelling was so important, but lately there's so many things that have the same name, they have to spell them differently, but that didn't happen a long time ago. How do you spell Bologna in Italy? I don't even know how to pronounce it, really, but was the Bologna Central Station clock in Italy a giant clock on the wall that did it stop working at the exact time of the attack at 10:25, or did they repair it and it keep on working until 1995 when it stopped working, or was it always at 10:25? Do you remember that? Do you know that? Yeah, leave comments if you do. Was there a full-scale model of a dinosaur in the Bolton Museum? Yeah, I don't know about that one. I never went there. Did Texas pass a law honoring the Boston Strangler for services to population control? Was there an animated show of the Brady Bunch using their Brady name? Is it Bragg's apple cider or Bragg? Did Brandon Lee die the same way as his father Bruce Lee? How did they die? How do you spell Brandon Fraser, the actor? There's a movie, it was called either Bridge Over River Kwai, or The Bridge Over River Kwai, or Bridge Over the River, or Kwai Bridge Over Kwai River. Anyway, what was the name of that movie? Do you know? Breakdancing began in the 1930s, the 1960s, or 1980s. And Bridge to Terabithia, do they show her death? Bridget Jones' Diary, how do you spell Jones? Does it have an apostrophe at the end, or S apostrophe S, or did the British national anthem have a Scottish verse? Was Britney wearing a mouthpiece, or in the video, oops, I did it again, or earphones or anything? Was she wearing a black miniskirt or one of those Catholic school type miniskirts? Bruce Springsteen, how does he spell his last name? The last 3 letters specifically. Did he have a bandana in his hat and born in the USA, or was it a hat? I'd be interested to know what color the bandana was if he had one. Brussels sprouts or Brussels sprout. Was pop called bubblegum music before lately? When was the first time you ever heard pop called bubblegum music or bubblegum pop? Bud Light, Lite, or the other way? Buddha, 2 D's or 1. Is Buddha fat or thin and healthy, or does Buddha have a Buddha belly? Are bulls attracted to red, or can bulls not even see the color red? Buster Browns. Does this boy and his dog look different? Are they a bit scary, or do they look the same? And how did you spell it and write it? A calendar. Did it end with ER or AR? California Dreamin' lyrics, began to pray, or pretend to pray? 2012 movie starring, Will Ferrell. Is it The Candidate or The Campaign? is either can we all just get along or can we all get along? Is it a famous quote? And if it is a famous quote and you know of it, then who said it that way? I know that you heard of it. And which it is. Did Canon cameras always have a fang Dracula tooth at the sea? How do you spell Canon? One N or two? Captain Bligh, was he nicer or meaner than most captains? Captain Crunch or Captain Crunch? Captain Crunch, when did Crunch Berries come out? 1960s or 1990s? And were the original Crunch Berries round or were they in a cluster? Capricorn, is it a goat or a goatfish? Is it cardamom or cardamom? Jim Carrey, how does he spell his last name? One R, two R's. Carhartt or Carhartt, which is number 150. I'm up at the top now. How do you spell that? Was Carmen Sandiego ever wearing yellow trench coat? Caroline and the City. It's now Caroline in the City. I used to love that show. I know it was Caroline and the City. And Sex in the City was Sex in the City until the movie came out, which was called Sex and the City. And I said, oh, they named the movie a little bit different. No, go figure. Caribbean or Caribbean, how do you spell it? Do carrots help your eyesight? Yeah, this is funny. Carry Olympic torch began when? 1936 in Berlin, Germany, or since the Olympics began? Casablanca. Did he ever say the line? Play it again, Sam. Who sang Cats in the Cradle? If you know this answer, please leave it in the comments. Was it Gordon Lightfoot, Cat Stevens, Harry Chapin, or somebody else? Caesars. How do you spell Caesar? E-A or A-E? Cemetery. Does it end A-R-Y or E-R-Y? CERN logo. If you know what it looks like, draw it. I don't know what it looks like. CERN. When did you ever hear of CERN? Did you first hear of it in the 1950s or 2008 or 2018? When did you first hear of it coming out? Like, has it always been there? Challenger, the space shuttle, exploded when? 1980s or the 1990s? Is it called The Chappelle Show or Chappelle's Show? Charles Lindbergh or Lindbergh with an H or without it? Was Charles Lindbergh the first person to fly across the Atlantic Ocean or the 25th person or the 82nd person? Charles Lindbergh, the baby that was kidnapped, was the baby never found or was the baby actually found dead within a few months after the kidnapping? Was the kidnapper ever punished? When did Charles Manson die? Charlie's Angels movie with Cameron Diaz. Were they all back to back ever doing a gun pose? I remember. Chartreuse. Is that a purple reddish color or yellowish green color? Charles Schultz. How do you spell his last name? Is it S-H or S-C-H? And does it end L-Z or L-T-Z? At the ending to Charles Brown, Great Pumpkin, do they see the Great Pumpkin? What color is Snoopy's towel? Was Cheerios called Cheery Oats until 1945? Cheez-Its. Is it Cheez-It or Cheez-Its? And do you know how to spell it? Cheetos. It ain't easy being cheesy or it's not easy being cheesy. Chevrolet, do you know how to spell it? And the Chevy symbol, is it sloped instead of straight across? It's the top center fatter and then it kind of goes in when you draw the outline of it as it goes in towards the center. And do the sides go out longer or not that much? Can you draw the symbol? Do you know what it looks like? Then you can look it up, see if you're right or wrong. Because it's fun. Chevron logo, is it blue or red on the top? Chick-fil-A. Forgive me, when it first came out, it's a Christian place, and I'm a Christian person full of sin, and I would say, why do they spell it like chick, like the chick, like, oh, she's a chick, look at that chick. Why don't they spell it chick like chicken? Well, guess what? They spell it chick like chicken. And I don't know what happened, but please forgive me. Their food is wonderful, and I love their food, so. Is China bigger than America or smaller? Chipotle or Chipotle? How do you spell it? Christmas was on the 3rd Thursday or the 25th. Elvis Christmas song. I'll be home for Christmas. You can count or plan on me. Please have snow and mistletoe and presents on or by the tree. Christmas song. Up on the rooftop or up on the housetop? Jingle Bell Rock. Is it Jingle Bells Chime and Jingle Bells Rhyme or in Jingle Bells Time? Jingle Bell Time is a swell time to dance the night away, or is it a rock the night away? Jingle Bell Time is a swell time to go a rocking in a one-horse sleigh, or is it a riding or a gliding or a sliding in a one-horse sleigh? Giddy up, jingle horse, pick up your feet, jingle around the clock, mix and mingle in a jingling beat, or is it jingling feet? Okay, Christmas vacation in school, was it 2 months off or 6 months off or less? Christmas, 'twas the night before Christmas, words include had settled down for a long winter's nap, or had settled our brains for a long winter's nap. Christmas. Upside down Christmas trees. Is that a thing or not a thing? And how long has it been a thing if it is a thing? Is there a land called Svalbard near the North Pole with reindeer? Is the global seed vault in Greenland or Svalbard? Was Santa Claus born in Greece, Turkey, or Rome? Does Santa Claus live at the North Pole or Svalbard Island? Christopher Reeves, or is it Christopher Reeves? And if it's Christopher Reeves, did he die or become paralyzed when he first was injured? Do you remember this? Did it seem like he died to you and then started in Smallville, making the Smallville show that much better, and then he died again? Or is he still alive? What do you remember? Chuck Barris, is he dead or alive? Chuck E. Cheese or Chuck E. Cheeses? How do you remember it? Was Cleopatra's tomb ever found? 197, Cliff Bar, Cliff Bar, Cliff Bars, Cliff Notes. Now, I would think that everybody would know what this was, but maybe not. Maybe they studied hard. How did you spell it? Was it Cliff Notes or Cliff's Notes? That one really got me. Does Clifford on the books look younger, smaller, and happier? Wasn't he like a big, big dog? Anyway, Clint Eastwood, Dirty Harry, did he say, do you feel lucky? Well, do you, punk? Or did he say, do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk? So you'd have to actually listen to that to hear it, to say, oh, I understand. When did Clive James die? Cocoa Puffs or Cocoa Puffs, is it spelled O-A or just Cocoa without an A? Coke Zero or Coca-Cola Zero? And then which way is Coca-Cola? And the Coen Brothers, which way is it spelled, with an H or without an H? Caldwell Banker, O or A? Is Columbus' first secret name ever mentioned in the series? Can people who are colorblind see red? Come on, baby, light my fire. Is it was to say to you or were to say to you? Oh, number 210. Which one of these is not one of the 7 continents? Is it North America, South America, Asia, Antarctica, Europe, Africa, or Australia? One of those is not a continent. Or one of the 7 continents. Yeah. Which continent is the largest continent in the world? Do you know how to spell cuckoo? A Costco or Costco? Courtney Cox, do you know how she spells her first name? And you can always pause this and then write down your answers, and you won't be able to hear me talking, but you'll be able to see that and then scroll down and pause it. Cowtails or Cowtails, how do you spell Cowtails for the candy? Cracker Jacks or Cracker Jack? Crash Dummies. Do you remember the Crash Dummies? Are they Crash Dummies? Are they Test Dummies? Are they Crash Test Dummies? Or the Incredible Crash Test Dummies? Crazy Little Thing Called Love. Have you ever heard that song? Was it some band in the 60s? Do you remember who sang it? Or was it by Queen? And somebody else sang it more recently too, but I'm not counting them. Okay, if you ever went to Florida to visit Florida, you probably listened to the guy talk about the alligators and the crocodiles. You probably asked your parents what's the difference, and they probably told you, oh, well, this one's smaller than that one. So which one was smaller, crocodiles or alligators? You might not know it, but if you do, please write it down. Do crocodiles have a curved shape on their head like a C for crocodile? Or more of an A-shaped head like A for alligators? Which one has that shape? Crocodile Dundee said, that's not a knife. This is a knife. Or that's not a knife. That's a knife. I don't know. Crossman Air, I do know, but it's what it is. How do you spell Crossman for the Crossman Air pistol? And if you ever read a lot of books to your children, you're going to know how to spell Cruella de Vil. Or if your parents read them to you, you probably saw it a lot. The song Crystal Blue Persuasion, maybe you heard it, maybe you didn't at the end. Does it say it's a new vibration, or they just end it by saying Crystal Blue Persuasion? Did C-3PO have one red leg or one silver leg? Or did this change? Did he have fingers? Were there 2 C-3POs in one movie? Okay, Lipton or not Lipton. It's I know I have a ramen. Is it cup of noodles or cup noodles? Curious George, does he have a tail or no tail? Curious George, the man with a yellow hat, is he got a black tie or a yellow tie with polka dots? The first cyber attack, was it in the 1800s, or did that happen more recently? How do you spell Dachshund? The dog, the puppies. Do you know how to spell that word? If you know how to spell that word, please put it down in the comments while it looks right to you before you go look it up and say, wow, none of it looks right. Dan Aykroyd, does he have a C or a Y? How does he spell his name? 2 Ks. Danielle Still. Yeah, I ever read her books. Did you see her books at the library on this funny thing? How does she spell her last name, with an E or without it? Did Dan rather die? Drug. DARE. Does it stand for Drug Awareness Resistance Education or Drug Alcohol Awareness Resistance or Drug Abuse Resistance Education? Did David Soul commit suicide around Christmas eons ago, years and years ago? Do you remember anything like that? He was my sister's favorite actor. He used to sing a song and she used to love it. David Soul, did he die in the mid-80s, the 90s, or is he still alive? Daylight Savings Time or Daylight Saving Time? And Day of the Dead, the lynch mob chants Candyman 5 times or 3 times before he dies. DEA stands for Drug Enforcement Agency or Drug Enforcement Administration. Deer Hunter or the Deer Hunter. Deer's tail, is it short and tiny or long and fluffy? Can a defibrillator restart someone's heart? Could be short and fluffy. Anyway, defibrillator, can it restart someone's heart if they're dying, or is it only used to stabilize someone's heart that is beating correctly? How do you spell definitely, with an A or an I right there? Depends. Adult diapers or depend. Desi or Naz. Do you know how Desi spells his name? Was it an S in the first name or a Z in that last name? Which one? Dermot and Greg. Is Greg spelled with 1 G or 2? The Diary of Anne Frank. Is it about a made-up character or a real girl? Dick Dastardly theme song. Is it Catch the Pigeon or Stop the Pigeon? Different Strokes. Did they put an apostrophe in there? Dilemma. MN or MMA? Dillard's. Does it have an apostrophe? And if it does, where is it? Dirty Dancing. Does it say nobody puts baby in a corner or nobody puts baby in the corner? Disney's. Is there an apostrophe? Doc Martens Boots. E or I? Doc Savage. The movie is Mona, You're a Real Brick, or Mona, You're a Brick. Dr. Doolittle. Do you remember 2 O's in the do, or just one? And is the doctor spelled out, or is it just DR? Doctor Who, in the movies, which way? The dodo birds, did they go extinct in the 1600s or the 1900s? If you know how they went extinct, that's extra. Put it in there. Dogs playing poker picture. Was there one with a dealer wearing a visor? Dollar Tree. Is it called the Dollar Tree or Dollar Tree? Dollar symbol. 1 line or 2 lines to the S. Don McLean or Don McLean. And how does he spell his name? Is he alive? Do you know if he's alive or dead? Donna Summers or Donna Summer? Who sang Don't Worry, Be Happy? The Doors lyrics, Light My Fire. You know that it would be untrue. You know that I would be a liar if I were or if I was to say to you. The Doors. Keep your eyes on the road and your hands or your hand upon the wheel. The Portrait of Dorian Gray or The Picture of Dorian Gray. Did Dracula ever say, I want to suck your blood, or was that just in the cereal commercial with Count Chocula? Double Bubble. D-U-B-B or D-O-U? Dunkin' Donuts. Were some of the donuts back in the day ever layered with pretty chocolate patterned decorative fillings and decorative top layer of chocolate in the 80s? Dunkin' Donuts. D-U-N-K-I-N or D-U-N-C-A-N? Don't forget to leave comments, especially about Dunkin' Donuts. Easter egg. Is that a term for something hidden in a movie, like something linked to another part in the movie? Is Easter egg a term for Jeep having things in them to look for, like hunting for Easter eggs? And when did this start? Are Easter Island statues wearing hats? Ebenezer. How does he spell his name? Ebenezer Scrooge. Is it based on a real person? Eddie's Ice Cream. 2 D's or 1. How do you remember it? It's so wrong. Was Ed McMahon the spokesperson for Publishers Clearinghouse or American Family Publishers? How do you spell Eiffel and the Eiffel Tower? Did Einstein ever say insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result? Or did he never even say that? Who invented electricity? How do you spell elephantitis? Or is it elephantiasis or whatever? Eli Whitney, inventor. Is the cotton gin, is he African American or is he white? Alyssa Lamb. The Canadian student who was found dead in the hotel's water tank, and I'm sure I didn't say her name right, was the hatch open or closed? Elliot's Pizza. Did it have a T or not? Elton John, my favorite singer of all time. Because, you go buy an album, a CD, all the songs are good. Other singers, one song, two songs you like, you don't listen to the rest of it. His, it's all good. All of it. Every bit of it. Anyway, your song lyrics. How wonderful life is now that you're in the world or while you're in the world. Who has bunnies? Who has a pink bunny beating the drums? Duracell bunny or Energizer bunny? Was there a monkey clapping cymbals together in an old battery commercial? Do you remember what it looked like? Yeah, look it up. Tell me if you find it. Was the Energizer bunny wearing glasses? Did Duracell have a pink bunny? How did Elvis die? Was there a car phone in 1910? Is it N power or M power? Did E.T. say phone home or home phone? When E.T. leaves Elliot, does he point to Elliot's head or heart? Is it etch and sketch with an N or etch a sketch with an A? And then does it have the lines or not? Do you know how Evel Knievel spelled his name? You may not even remember Evel Knievel, or maybe you never really watched him. Exorcist, did she have a feeding tube in her nose? Eyeball piercings, eyeball tattoos. Since when? Is that a thing? When did that come out? Do you remember? If you remember, let me know. If you don't, fine. Eye of the Tiger, the lyrics. Is it cream of the fight or thrill of the fight? Is it change your passion or trade your passion? Is it family circus, the family circus, or family circle? Farmer's Almanac, or is it called Old Farmer's Almanac? When they came out with Farmer's Almanac, did they call it Old Farmer's Almanac? Did Fats Domino die in the 1960s or around 2010? The first fax was sent in 1964 or 1860. Did the old computers used to have a fax built in them so you could just scan to your computer and send the fax from your computer without using a fax machine? Febreze 1E or 2, that's 308. 309 FedEx with a line without. Who sang Fillings? If you know the answer to this, please leave it in the comments if you remember it specifically. It was my sister's favorite song. She would change it to Felix, I think, because she named the cat Felix, but Fidel Castro, how did he spell Fidel? When did Fidel Castro die? Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come, or if you build it, he will come. Fireball Whiskey, tastes like heaven but burns like hell. Dragon or devil on the bottle. Draw and then look up the flag for the United Kingdom and see if it's right. Flag of the United States, the stars. Was it 7, then 6, and then 7 until 56? Or was it 6 and 5, and then 6 until 50? Are the stars offset? How many stripes are there? Come to think of it, if you look right under the stars, is it the same color right underneath the stars as it is on the bottom of the flag, or is the stripe a different color right there? The Fly movie, 1958, was only ever filmed and shown in black and white or in color. The Return of the Fly and The Curse of the Fly were filmed in black and white or in color. Yeah. The answer will amaze you. Ever heard of flying foxes or in large flying fast animals that fly so fast that you may only see the large black wings and a dark shadow going by, and the animals appear to be like 3 or 4 feet tall? Maybe they appear to be a different height. Have you ever seen one of these? Have you ever heard of one of these? Have you ever seen it at night while you're driving, or maybe by Smith Lake in Alabama or somewhere? If you have, leave a comment. Let me know what you saw. Because, yeah. I've seen this. Was it the Flintstones or the Flintstones? Folgers coffee with a D or without a D? Fonzie's jacket, is it black or brown? Food pyramids started appearing in American schools when? 1950s, 70s, or 90s? Ask family members if you're younger if they had a food pyramid hanging in any of their classrooms and when they went to school. Ford logo, with or without the loop when crossing the F. Is the Ford logo always, is it in cursive, or have you ever seen it in print on the cars? Forrest Gump said life is or was like a box of chocolates. Does Forrest Gump say I may not be a smart man, or does he say I'm not a smart man? Did Forrest Gump have a son or a daughter? Is Fort Knox in Tennessee, Kentucky, or New York? Fortune cookies, they were invented in China or San Francisco. Franco Colombo, whatever. What's the last letter of his name? In 1974, young Frankenstein or Frankenstein and Dr. Frederick meets Igor for the first time, or Igor, however you want to say it, and says it's pronounced Frankenstein, or does he say it's pronounced Frankenstein in the 1974 movie? Was there ever a hunchback assistant in Frankenstein movie before 1974 named Igor? How do you spell Igor? E-E-R-I. In 1974, does Igor say it's pronounced Igor, or does he say it's pronounced Igor? Have you seen the movie? Frankenstein has bolts or electrodes. Number 335. Was Frankenstein written in Sumerian text in 2 AD, the 1800s, or early 1900s? FDR Franklin D. Roosevelt was paralyzed for 12 years. He was president, or was he not paralyzed? Franklin Delano Roosevelt or Franklin Delano Roosevelt? Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, did it have a dash? Friends theme. I'll be there for you when the rain starts to fall or when it starts to pour. Second verse, I made a note of that because it sounds really strange to me. Frontier Middle School or high school shooting? Frosty the Snowman, is it I-E or Y? Is his note a carrot or a button with holes, or just like a nose almost in the movie? And the color of his nose, his belly, did he have a button or any buttons or a few buttons or just nothing on his belly? Did he have anything around his neck? What was the color or shape of his hat? Did he have a flower on his hat, or was the flower on his chest? Funyuns with an I or a Y. Fruit Loops, how do you spell fruit? Did the Fruit of the Loom have a basket of fruit or just fruit, and they called it Fruit of the Loom? Seems like they just call it fruit and not Fruit of the Loom if there was no basket. Did the Fruit of the Loom have a big red apple and 3 different colors of grapes in it? Did Fruit of the Loom ever have a banana in the logo or an orange or anything like that? How do you spell Gaddafi? Game of Thrones, how does she spell her last name? Gangster's Paradise, is it we've been spending most of our lives or they've been spending most of their lives in Gangster's Paradise? Garnier Fructis shampoo, C or no C, how do you spell it? Do you know? And if you don't know how to spell it, do you remember it has a C or not? Gary Shandling, 352, how do you spell Gary? How many times have you heard that Gene Wilder died? And when? George Burns said, "Good night, Gracie," and Gracie said, "Good night, Gracie," or did she just say good night and back up gracefully? They were comedians, so. The capital of Georgia is Augusta or Atlanta? George O'Keeffe, 2 F's or 1. George Lopez or The George Lopez Show. Did George Washington Carver discover peanut butter or ancient Incas, Aztecs, and several other people, including Kellogg's? Did George Washington have wooden teeth? George W. Bush. Do you know what the W stands for? Is it William Willard Walker Washington? Did someone try to kill George Bush in 2006? How do you spell Gandhi? Where's the H? Does Gandhi have 2 names or just 1? Gilbert Godfrey or Gilbert Gottfried? Gilligan's hat, is it white, brown, or beige? The Girl Is Mine, that song, the video, was there a video showing Michael and Paul McCartney chasing a woman around a cabin? Maybe both of them trying to win her heart, you know? And what did she look like? Did she have like dark skin and dark hair? What did she look like? But do you remember them both chasing her around, trying to win her heart? Yeah, no, I don't mean that other song either. I mean this one. Did Godzilla movie have a lady in the palm of Godzilla's hand? Wherever shall I go? Whatever shall I do? Or, in Gone with the Wind, did she just say, where shall I go? What shall I do? Did Google have a lowercase g or an uppercase G? Was Goliath over 9 foot tall or just over 6 foot tall? Goodbye Yellow Brick Road lyrics. Where the dogs of society howl or where the dark clouds. Another song by Elton John. You can't lock me or plant me in your penthouse. I'm going back to my plow. Or is it cloud? What do you remember? How do you remember that song? I mean, everybody has sang Elton John songs forever, as far as I know, because I remember singing them all the time. I grew up with them. Gordon's with a D or T. Gordon Ramsay with an A or an E. Grand Central Station in New York or Grand Terminal. Have you heard of the Grand Central Terminal? Or is it Grand Central Station or Grand Central Terminal? Yeah, that's easy, isn't it? The lyrics to Grease Lightning. This car is automatic, systematic, hydromatic, or which one? Is it one of these other ones? Is there a Great Wall of India? Was a gremlin with a mohawk called Spike, or was he called Stripe? The guillotine was the official method of capital punishment until 1981, or was it the 1700s? Yeah, you may not know that one. Okay, Guinness beer, how do you spell it? Who built the first rocket cannons using gunpowder? You may not know that one. It may not affect you. Who discovered gunpowder? Guy Fieri. I'm sure we've all watched him. Have you ever seen him wearing a visor in any of his shows? Haagen-Dazs. How do you spell it? The Das at the end. Hass avocado. How do you spell it? Did Halo 2 have a gun, one that shot red brute shoot? Did not have to cock it more than once. It just automatically fired 4 shots. Boom, 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 boom. But it only had 4 bullets and you could pick it up. Was there like 2 red brute shots? I only put that in there because it affected my husband. Halo 2 Xbox armor. Did he have an engraving of a creature on it? Did Halo 2 first 2 levels, level armory, have split screen and co-op? Hans Zimmerman or Hans Zimmer? Haley Joel Osment or Haley Joel Osment? Halley's Comet or Halley's Comet? Harry Dean Stanton died 2012 or 17. Is the heart on the left side of your chest, directly in the middle of your chest, or slightly to the right? If you're a pastor and you've married people, that will affect you. Was the heart a simple organ that was smaller or did not look huge, or was it big with visible veins and big tube thingies coming out of it? If you ever read the book, Snow White, was it hi-ho? Spelled which way? It's home from work we go. Hello my baby, hello my darling, or hello my honey. Hello my ragtime girl. Does that affect you? Do you know how to spell Hellmann's? Do you know how to spell mayonnaise? Do you remember how to spell it? How do you remember it being spelled? We used to use that word all the time. And when we played Hangman. Who fired Henry Ford? Was it Henry Ford Motor or Ford Motor Company? Did Henry Winkler ever die? Herbal essences. Hey Jude lyrics. Don't carry the weight of the world on your shoulders or shoulder. Hickory Dickory Dock with an E or an O. Hillary Clinton, does she have to spell her name with 2 L's or 1? Hillshire Farms or Hillshire Farm with 1 S at the end on this one, or no S's? Hillshire Farm of Smokies, does it have a T, little or little? Hindenburg crashed and how many passengers and crew died? Everyone, or was it just some of them? The History Channel or just history, and for how long? Hitler, was he born in Australia or Switzerland? Was Hitler addicted to meth? Was he giving it to soldiers to keep them awake and to get them to murder people, or no? Was Hitler's birthday 4/20? Was Hitchcock's The Birds in black and white or in color? The Hobbits in the Fellowship of the Ring, is it Run or Fly, you fools? Was there a movie called Honey, I Blew Up the Baby or Honey, I Blew Up the Kids? Home Depot or The Home Depot? Horses' pupils, are they round or rectangular? Howard Cosell, how do you spell his last name? Is it How the Grinch Stole Christmas or The Grinch Who Stole Christmas? Hubble Bubble, Toil and Trouble is in what? Is it in Macbeth or something else? Hunchback of Notre Dame, does Esmeralda die? Does Macbeth even say that? Hunger Games, scene where one person stepped off the platform and it blew up at the beginning. Did that ever happen? Was that ever in the movie? Perhaps it was never even there. Humpty Dumpty is an egg or a cannon. Hurricane Katrina was 2001 or 2005. Hypnotic liquor, how do you spell hypnotic? Which one of these 3? Can horses grow a mustache? Ever seen a horse with a mustache? I grew up around horses and going into their stalls and stuff. Houdini died how? Did Houdini drown in an act? Or did Houdini die from a ruptured appendix? I Am Legend, the movie with Will Smith. Are there zombies or vampire-like creatures that repel from garlic? Did Will Smith find a cure, or was he alone with a dog during the whole movie, walking around trying to survive alone? Song by Ice Cube. It was a good day, or today was a good day. I can't believe I ate the whole thing, or I can't believe I ate that whole thing. When did Iggy Pop die? Indiana Jones' hat. Did it have a strap that hung down around his neck or chin, or not? Was it loose and big like a fishing hat, or was it a small sort of cowboy hat? Did Inspector Gadget have a mustache? Was Italy ever mentioned in the Bible? Is Italy shaped like a boot with a high heel or a boot with a low heel? The itsy bitsy spider climbed up the water spout or crawled up the water spout? Did Ricky Ricardo from I Love Lucy ever say, Lucy, you got some splaining to do? Song, I love rock and roll lyrics. I saw him standing there by the record machine or dancing there. How do you spell in between? Is it Instapot or Instant Pot? Was there a car company called Infinity? Did it ever exist? And if it did it end with an I or a Y? Is it Interview with a Vampire or Interview with the Vampire? What year did Interview with a Vampire come out? Mid-90s or midway between 2000 and 2010? Do your intestines go back and forth horizontally or more vertically or bunched up? Drop before you look. Was Italy shaped like a boot kicking Sicily? Jack Daniel's whiskey was created by Jack Daniel or a slave. Jack's Link's beef or jerky or Jack Link's beef jerky. Jack the Ripper, did he kill 7 women or 5? Jack Ruby did he shoot Lee Harvey Oswald in the video? Jackson 5, was there a younger brother Randy singing in the group with them? Was there 6 of them in the cartoon or 5? Was there a cartoon? Was Michael and Janet the youngest? What do you remember? When did you hear of Randy or Latoya? Have you ever heard of him? Is it spelled Latoya? 1 word or 2 words? Latoya. James Bond, the name Spawn, James Bond. Or my name's Bond, James Bond. James Bond Moonraker 1979. Did Dolly have braces or no braces? Did James Cagney ever say you dirty rat in the movie? Was James Cameron the first person to dive and take videos of the Titanic, or did somebody else do it in the 80s? Jane Goodall. Did she work with monkeys or gorillas? Janis Joplin, when did she die? How thin was she? Was she like a size 3, 4, or a size 10? Is Japan in the right place? Is Japan one land or a few lands? Jaws, we're going to need a bigger boat, or you're going to need a bigger boat. Was there a bite taken out of the word Jaws on the cover movie poster? J.C. Penney, do you know how to write the word J.C. Penney? Do you remember seeing it on the side of the store? What did it look like? Jeff Goldblum. How do you spell his name? Do you know what it looks like? Jennifer Aniston, 1 in or 2. How many people were in the JFK assassination car? Do you remember there being 3 or 4 or 6 people? JFK, was the footage in black and white or color? Was there sound? Was Jackie Kennedy in the CIA? Maybe you don't know the answer to that. Was there ever Jiffy peanut butter? Nothing to do with Jif. Just Jiffy peanut butter separately. That was really good. That was better than Skippy. And Jif was a completely different peanut butter. I don't know why people compare Jif and Jiffy. Because the labels were completely different. They weren't that. That's not that. Anyway, it was the best damn peanut butter ever. It was so good. Anyway, I remember it vividly. Jim Beam or Jim Beam. And I know somebody who owned a store, and they remember it vividly. Nothing to do with Jif, just Jiffy peanut butter. Jimi Hendrix, how did he spell his first name? M-M-Y or M-I? Jimmy Fallon, O-N or E-N. Joanne's Fabrics, or Joanne Fabrics. Joel Osteen, John Deere with an E or without it. Did John Goodman die around 10 years ago? John Hopkins University, or Hopkins with an apostrophe, or Johns Hopkins University. How do you spell Johnny and Johnny Walker? Was Johnny Quest, or was it Johnny without an H? I remember when that changed for me. Jolly Ranchers or Jolly Ranchers. See, Johnny Quest changed early 70s for me. I remember. Journey, Don't Stop Believing. She took the midnight train and then he took the midnight train, or he took the midnight train both times. I thought it was he first and then she, but I don't know. Joyce Myers or Joyce Meyer. TV show Judge Judy. Did she ever have a gavel or not? Jules Verne, Around the World in 80 Days. Did they ever fly in a hot air balloon? Julia Childs or Julia Child. Jungle Book. During the song, the bear joins in wearing a coconut bra or a green grass skirt or a coconut bill and a yellow grass skirt. Jungle Book song. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam. I couldn't be founder or found of my big home. I think I put that in there twice. I'm almost positive I did. We'll take this one out. Jubilees Candy or Jujubes. Jujubes. I'm sorry. 2 E's or 1 E. Jupiter has 11 moons or 79. Just go with it. The movie poster, first bumping or clicking glasses together. Fist bumping or clicking glasses together when they do that, when they toast by the beach. Karate Kid's headband, what did it look like? Did it have the sun in the middle? Was it a red sun shooting out or yellow? Or was it flowered? Katie or Carrie Mullis? Carrie or Carrie. An A-R or E-R. Katy Perry or Katy Perry, still pronounced Katy Perry, but did it end with a Y or an E and be pronounced Katy Perry. It wasn't pronounced Kate, but did it end with an E? Um, Kanye, did he raised a fuss on stage when Taylor Swift won? Was that 2015, 2012, or 2009? Do you remember when that happened? I think I spelled his name wrong. I think it's NY, right? Anyway, do you remember when that happened? If you do, leave a note. Kelly, Blue Book, and how do you spell it? Kevin Bacon. Was Kevin Bacon's name spelled like the bacon you eat, or was it spelled differently? And did you ever say, oh, wouldn't it be funny if Kevin Bacon spelled his name like the bacon you eat, and isn't it a good thing it's not spelled that way? Or no, has it always been spelled the way it's spelled now? And how do you know how it's spelled, and which way is it spelled? I mean, that one drives me crazy too. Because I am sarcastic about everything. And I need to be better. Okay, Kevin Bacon, was he 3 people away from most people or 9 points away? This might have changed, and maybe I just shouldn't have thrown that in there. But 2 return keys on keyboards. 1 return key on the right and 1 on the bottom left on the computers. Or was that just the typewriters? Did the typewriters have them like that too? Anyway, have you lately gone looking for that return key and they're like, where did it go? Are your kidneys in your lower back or are they up higher in your rib cage? Kindergarten, spelled with a T or a D. Does a famous painting of King Henry show him holding a turkey leg? Do you remember a turkey leg? Was there a bite taken out of the turkey leg? Was the turkey leg on the right side or the left side of the painting if you were facing it? Was the other hand empty or was something in it? Do you remember the turkey leg? How could anybody forget the turkey leg? And it wasn't just, hey, he's eating turkey. Turkey was symbolic. It wasn't just random and a sloppy painting. It meant something. Anyway, which finger was King Henry's ring on? Does King Henry's necklace look the same? Is King Henry's hat tilted differently? Is it the same hat? Does King Henry's face look the same to you or does it look different? Are our intestines chaotic or well ordered? Are the kidneys low or up in the rib cage? I'm going to put that twice. Do killer whales look the same to you or do they look different? You'll have to look that up later. Does Kim Jong-un ever use the bathroom? Was King Arthur, maybe it was his dad that never used the bathroom. I don't know. Was King Arthur a real person or a made-up person? Or was he based on a real person? King Solomon Mines. How do you spell Alan Quatermain? Or is it Quatermain with no R? What was on the, I'm from the South, so we add R's to everything, even if there's no R, so that would be tough for us. What was on the top center of King Tut's death mask, if anything? Was there a vulture and a cobra, or was it just a snake? Cereal, King Vitamin or Vitamin King? Whoops. Or did that change for you? Was it once Vitamin King and then King Vitamin and then King, or the other way? Did Kit Kat or Kit Kat have a dash? Klaus and Pickles. Have you ever heard of those? Do you know how it's spelled? Did Kmart have a dash? Kohl's. Did Kmart go out of business or do they still exist? Kohl's department store, or is it just Kohl's and not Kohl's department store? And how do you spell it? Does it have a dash? Korea. Is there something from Korea about leaving a fan on at night can kill you? You shouldn't leave your fan on at night. I would think it could because of the electric, but was North and South Korea below China or above it? Was there a North Korea and a South Korea, or was there just a Korea? Is it Kraft macaroni and cheese or Kraft macaroni and cheese dinner? Krispy Kreme spelled with a C or a K? And was it once Krispy Kreme? Did Kurt Cobain have a fluffy pink jacket? And what happened to it? Lady Princess Diana, do you remember the wreck of the car? How many people do you remember in the car? Was there 3 people or 4 people or 5 people? How many people do you remember? Is Lake Tahoe, do you remember it being in Nevada or California or both? Largest desert, is it the Sahara or Antarctic desert? How do you spell lasagna? Have you ever seen lasagna spelled with an E at the end or always an A? Lassie, did Timmy ever fall down the well and Lassie go for help? Now, if you're younger, you may not remember it, but if you're older, you do. The Last Supper painting by Leonardo da Vinci, did it have a chalice or a holy grail on the table and no other glasses, or were there just a bunch of wine glasses? Did they even have glass back in the day? Did they? Did they drink the glasses out of glass, or would they have been wooden? The Last Supper painting, does the table look different? Does it? The tablecloth, does it all look different? Do the people look different? Were they all on one side, or were they sitting around the table? Laughing cow doesn't have a nose ring. Did the laughing cow wear hoop earrings or no earrings or other earrings? Laurel and Hardy, there's another fine mess you've gotten us into. Or is it there's another nice mess you've gotten us into? How do you spell lazy boy? Leanne Rhymes, did she spell her last name with an R or just an I? Leonardo DiCaprio, when did he win his first Oscar? Leonard Skinner. Do you know how to spell Leonard Skinner? Did you have a Leonard Skinner album? Your brother, your friends, your husband, anybody? Do they know how to spell it? Which way was it spelled? My husband remembers it being spelled this way. Anyway. Okay, this man by Leonardo da Vinci. I can't even pronounce it. Did he have 2 legs or 4 legs or 6 legs? How many arms did he have? Is that what it was called? See, I don't even remember that. Okay. Did Leonardo da Vinci invent contact lenses? The Library of Alexandria, did it burn down? Is lightning attracted to metal? If you carry an umbrella out, are you going to be like struck by lightning? Likeable, how do you spell it? Linda Carter, do you remember how she spelled her name? Did she spell it with an I or a Y? Or is just a Y just a fashionable way of spelling it now? And was it spelled with an I? LinkedIn. Do you know how it's spelled? Is it either one of those? The Lion King. Do you know how to spell Timon and Pumbaa or Pumbaa? Does the Bible say the lion shall lie with the lamb, or the lion shall dwell with the lamb, or the wolf shall dwell with the lamb? Isaiah 35:9. No lion shall be there, nor any ravenous beast shall go up thereon. It shall not be found there, but the redeemed shall walk there. Anyway, is the lion or tiger the king of the jungle? Little Debbie's, is it pecan twirls, pinwheels, or spinwheels? When did Little Richard die? Little Tykes, with a Y or an I. Liquid plumber or liquid plumber. Liquefy, how do you spell it? Is the liver bigger? Does it have a second lobe? Liquid Drano, or is it just Drano? And how do you spell it? Lobster claws. Do they look different to you? You got to look at them because I don't know. They seem a little bit different now. They just look different. So do lobster claws look different to you? Is London Bridge in London, or was it moved to Lake Havasu City, Arizona? The Lone Ranger, did he say hi-ho, hi-oh, or hi-yo? Silver away. Isn't it silver and away? Anyway, Looney Tunes. How do you spell loony? How do you spell tunes? When did this change for you? Did it change for you? Do you remember the year it changed? Lauren Fishburne. How do you spell Fishburne? How do you spell Lawrence? Lawrence Fishburne. Lou Grant, Ed Asner. Is he dead or alive? Louis Armstrong or Louis Armstrong. How do you spell it? Lowe's with a comma, apostrophe or not. Lungs, are they short or way bigger and further up than people? Remember, I'm going to stop the video here and continue on in a minute because it's so long and I need a drink. Thank you for tuning into my channel, and I hope that you have enjoyed this, and I hope I haven't rambled too much or talked too fast, which maybe I did. And I'm just going to ask the questions, and then I'm going to create videos answering the questions that'll be broken up in much shorter. I was trying to get them all in one video, but I'm out of breath. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye.